Serge Ibaka. It was all over my timeline. I was talking about it. Ricky Vinay, what do you guys think? Ibaka made 23.2 mil last year. He's a free agent right now. He posted a video on YouTube basically saying goodbye. It looked like goodbye to Toronto.
Right.
Lakers had the mid-level exception. What do you think about his fit? Is he a possibility? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Serge Ibaka was a tasty name out there when he hopped onto the timeline the last couple of days. And honestly, my first reaction to that was, okay, haha, pipe dream for the Lakers, right? Lakers fans are always wanting so and so and such, right? But after getting a couple of informative nuggets sent to my DMs, they said, slow your roll. This actually could be a real scenario. Now, what I've been told, that a source has been told, is that the Lakers and Serge Ibaka have high mutual interest to the point where Serge might have them number one on their list. But the caveat is if the money's right, right? Like Serge Ibaka, like you just said, he's made plenty of money in his career. He hasn't been shorted or cheated at any point. So that would lead you to believe, as a one-time champion, probably prioritizing more rings before he gets up out of here and retires. I think there is a pathway for the Lakers and Serge to agree on a contract. But the biggest thing is, who else is out in the playing field willing to actually pay Serge Ibaka what his going rate would be in a normal battle for his services, not including the Los Angeles Lakers? I think market value, right, he could still get in the teens, the mid-teens as far as salary. Obviously, the Lakers aren't playing that game with him. They cannot, right? So to me, the only way I see that the Lakers and Serge link up is if Serge takes a look over into La La Land and says, there's a lot more than just playing for the Lakers that comes with playing for the Lakers, right? Man loves his scarves, loves his YouTube channel. Let's go and be super famous, Serge. You already dated Carrie Hilson. We got superstars out in LA as well, my brother. So why don't you bite the bullet on a couple million here or there, right? Come sign with the Lakers. Again, that's me putting a lot of assumptions on my man. And I have no idea how he's thinking, but those domino pieces sound like they could fall in line for the Lakers in this free agency.
Vinay, does the money work? Does the math make sense? I mean, could we get him?
So you could get him. As of right now, just looking at the cap holds and that sort of situation for the Lakers right now, they're over the cap. They're actually also over the tax line, which means that really the only money, like extra money that they have to offer to Serge, would be their taxpayer mid-level exception, which is about $5.7 million. That's not really that much money for a guy like him. He could probably get maybe about 10 million just from somebody in regards to that. If the Lakers were able to get far enough below the tax apron, which is $139 million, they could get access to their non-taxpayer MLE, which is worth $9.3 million. So that's probably a little bit closer to what looks good for him. I would guess, just kind of thinking about his role and just sort of how he fits in and stuff like that. Also his age and the length of the contract that he would want. He's probably trying to make as much as he can. So if you can get 15, 16 mil from a team, I'm sure he would love that. But if we take a look at historically what he's gotten paid, it's not been after his rookie contract. He signed a 3-year, $36 million deal. And then he had two kind of whatever years with a 4-year, $48 million deal. And so that was about $12 million a year. And then he got a big payout from Toronto, where he was making about 20 mil. He made a 360, so 20 mil a year. So now he's 31. He's been in the league for 11 years. Is he going to get 20 mil? Probably not. Is he going to get 15 mil? That might also be a stretch compared to all the stretch fives that may be out there that'll probably be available for cheaper. I think probably a number somewhere between 10 and 15 is probably more realistic for him. But at the same time, that depends on what the actual league situation is. So if the league situation right now is that people don't want to pay that kind of money for a role player, even though he is a starter, that number may not be 10 to 15. It may be closer to 9 to 12, right? And it may just be a short-term deal for him. But I think Ricky hit it on the head. Like coming to LA, there's no better place to raise your profile. He's already a champion. He's already made a pretty good amount of money. If he's now looking at like, how is my quality of basketball life going to be like, living in LA if he's out here? I mean, he's been active on his YouTube. It seems like he's like very dedicated to like improving, like getting that YouTube presence up. No better place to do it than LA. We've seen JaVale be popular when it comes to it. Danny Green's launched a podcast when he's out here. You see JaVale going and doing his vlog during the bubble and stuff like that. My wife doesn't even watch all the Laker games with me, and she watches JaVale's vlogs because he was reporting on the bubble. So like, there's an audience for stuff like that too as well. So, and Serge is a funny guy, and so like he makes jokes and stuff like that. I wonder if he saw what Danny Green did when he came to LA with the podcast and all the sponsorships and stuff that he got. He got his grapes in the farmer's market and in Costco and stuff like that. Like, maybe he sees an opportunity for his life after basketball if he makes the transition to LA. So the Lakers could offer him that 9.3 if they can get low enough below the tax apron. But that also means that the Lakers would hard cap themselves. So I don't know if they would also do that. There's sign and trade stuff that can happen. The Lakers could, straight up trade Danny Green to like the Hawks or somebody like that and open a big trade exception and absorb him in. There's so many different ways to do it. So if he really wants to be in LA, there are ways that the Lakers can figure out how to do it. Just depends on what the number turns out to be. If he takes the 5.7 million, that would be pretty crazy. I wouldn't even be worried about losing Dwight or JaVale at that point if he's willing to come and play for that number.